I'm here to get validated.
You are awesome.
Excuse me?
You have an amazing face. You've got powerful features, man. Anyone ever tell you that?
No.
And listen, you look a little down. And it may seem like sometimes people don't understand you. But someday, man, someday, people are gonna see you for what you really are.
You really think so?
Absolutely. You are great.
Need a validation, please?
You are great, ma'am. You have amazing cheekbones.
Really?
Sir, yes. We have a situation. Where?
Oh my gosh, ah, 6 months over.
What the hell's going on?
Yes, that is so sweet.
You've been through it. You know. You've had so much life experience that other people don't appreciate, but you know.
Bless you, dear.
They're not patronizing the shops. They're just coming to see him.
Oh, sir, you're in great shape. You work out?
Not for long.
I do, actually, a bit. Yeah, thanks.
Young man, we are running a business here, not a social club.
That is a fantastic suit. It really flatters you.
You think so?
You guys work so hard. You are the backbone that keeps this place running.
It always felt like no one really appreciated us.
Yeah, I mean, our jobs are so stressful, and it seems like most of the times people just don't see it.
No, what you do is so important.
You know, I bet the boss would love to meet you.
You are great. You provide hundreds of jobs, sustaining hundreds of families. That's huge.
That's so good to hear. Most times I feel like people don't recognize that. I'm just the big bad man on the hill.
Not at all. You give.
Oh, my Lord.
You know, I know some people who'd probably like to meet you.
Take me home.
Mr. President, no matter what people say about you, you have still got a great golf swing. God bless you. You do. You have a fantastic mustache. I bet Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck look at you and get envious. I'm not kidding.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hugh Newman, a man who is changing the world with free parking and free compliments.
New leaf. A very big new leaf.
Your license is expired, sir.
That is why you're great at what you do. You are so thorough.
Really? You think so?
Hugh, what is your secret?
I just love to see people smile.
It seems there is no one Hugh Newman cannot make smile. Next!
Welcome to the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Now serving B331 at window number 19.
No one smiles in their driver's license photo, sir. It's not allowed. Next! Next!
You are amazing. You are so efficient.
Next!
Victoria? Oh, that's a beautiful name.
Next!
You take such good care of your equipment. Oh, they're lucky to have you.
We're closed, sir.
Victoria. I just want to see you smile.
Good night, sir.
Where do I go for...
We don't validate, sir.
your eyes. Sorta. Oh, you have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen.
Next.
You eat healthy, too. See, you take good care of yourself. That's awesome.
See? You're even a great pet owner. You're giving her a full hour's walk. Most people wouldn't take the time, but you care. Oh, boy, do you care.
Have you ever smiled?
Yes.
When?
When I was a little girl.
Oh, I bet you had a beautiful smile. What happened to it?
Next.
Look like anyone you know?
Next.
There's color and black and white.
Next. Next.
I just wanted to see you smile.
I'm sorry. Next.
I'm here to get validated, please.
You're okay, I guess.
Okay. Did you say okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Don't you have anything else to say?
What's the point?
Hey, excuse me. Excuse me. Could you take our picture? Thanks, I really appreciate it.
It's our first time here.
Smile. It's not a real smile. You guys love each other? You're on vacation, traveling the world? God, that's great. Wish I could travel the world with the woman I love. Wish I could have someone take our picture. I'd really smile. You guys have every reason to smile. You're gorgeous. You're in the prime of your lives. And you guys are great. Hold it right there. Now that is a smile. Hey, one more, right here. Oh, that's excellent. One more. Beautiful, beautiful. Here, look at each other. Oh, fantastic couple. What do you love most about your wife?
She accepts me. Despite knowing.
Where did you meet?
On jury duty.
Oh, served your country and met the love of your lives. You guys are awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice meeting you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Excuse me. You get the most sincere smiles out of people I've ever seen. You want to make some extra money shooting stuff like this?
Pardon me, folks. Sorry to interrupt. You're a beautiful couple. Are you models?
No.
Would you like to be? You have two of the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen.
Excuse me?
Your eyes, they're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. And your dress matches your eyes. It's perfect. May I?
Okay.
What do you love most in all the world?
My daughter. She has the most wonderful smile.
Hello, I have a 310 cleaning. Hugh Newman?
Hello, Hugh. Can you just put your driver's license on there when you're done?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, man.
did you... You're smiling. But she... Did you... Excuse me, sir. Where's Victoria?
You know, work here, she was fired. Yeah!
Fired? Why?
You were smiling. Look at this. She did these. Look at that. They're all smiling. Look at that. Those pictures suck. They're not supposed to smile. They're smiling. Look at that. Those suck. Look at that.
Where is she?
Really? Yeah, this is amazing. This line is special. Yeah.
You are awesome. Thank you. You're gonna have so much fun on this trip. The stories you're gonna tell people when you get back will be amazing.
I can't wait. I've always wanted to see Paris.
I don't understand. I tried everything. What happened?
When I was a little girl, my mother got very sick. And she stayed that way. And over the years, she just got so sad that she forgot how to smile. And seeing her like that, I couldn't smile either. And I didn't. For years. But then one day, a young man came up to her and told her how beautiful she was. So beautiful that he wanted to take her picture. He made her smile. And suddenly, after all those years, she got better. I knew it was you. I looked everywhere for you, but I couldn't find you anywhere. I went to every garage in town. I paid every fee they had, but I couldn't find you.
You paid for parking? For me?
Yes. Because you are great. You are amazing.
No one has ever said that about me before.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Wasn't that the cutest little video clip you've ever seen? I'm hoping that everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I had a wonderful time with my family up in Boston. And my children played this for me. And it left me with such a warm and fuzzy feeling. So I thought, instead of scripture readings this morning, why not try something new and put all of you in a warm and fuzzy mood this morning. But you know, truly, Thanksgiving is a very, very special holiday. It's really the one time in the year that I can be the grand chef in my family. And through my efforts and through the help of my new daughter-in-law, we were able to create prepare a fantastic feast, and each dish and each preparation or the steps that goes into preparing such a feast, we always try to do it with a great deal of love and a great deal of care. And I think it really shows when you cook with that much love, because when the people or when your children bite into that food, they can feel the love and they can experience the love. And the feeling that you have at the end of the meal, even though all of you feel like stuffed turkeys, right? But the feeling is just so satisfying. And to spend it with loving ones and to spend it with people that you care about, it's really a lovely, lovely holiday. So I'm hoping that all of you had a wonderful holiday as well. But as I was thinking about what to talk about after such a wonderful and a beautiful holiday like Thanksgiving, I thought this video was quite profound in that, the importance of this little thing called a smile can really cause this revolution of heart that can change people's lives. And even though it's such a funny little video clip and an amusing one, there's a profound story behind it, and that is that little things matter, and that one person can make a huge difference, and that something as insignificant as wanting to share some words of encouragement, some words of empowerment, some words of support can really transform people's lives. So I think for those of us who are mothers in the audience, who have children of our own, we understand the meaning of this word validation. This is what we do in the family. Our children literally line up in front of us, just like the way they were lining up in front of Mr. Newman there, because the children want to feel like they're seen. They want to feel like they're heard. And they want to experience your grace through the words that you speak, or through simple acts of kindness, such as a hug, or maybe the holding of the hand when your child feels a little bit insecure. It's that kind of loving environment that becomes almost like a security blanket through the difficult years of a child's life, and helps the child find his or her own way on his or her own road of discovery into becoming a young and a beautiful lady and a gentleman. So for those of us who have kids, especially mothers, we go out of our way to be there for our children. And we're always thinking of how to inspire these munchkins to really see their own worth, their own value. It doesn't really matter where you are in life, whether you're the good child or whether you're the boisterous child or whether you're the seemingly excellent child or the seemingly troubled child. It doesn't matter who we are. Fundamentally, we all want to experience love, and we all want to feel love. And when we're talking about, how we are in terms of our own relationship with our parents, there's nothing that gives us more confidence or a feeling like we can do so much than a parent's love. And there's nothing that makes us feel more insecure and worthless than not having the parent's love. So when I was watching this video, and you kind of see the story unfold, and you realize that this guy, this Newman guy, Mr. Newman, is such a phenomenal human being in that, in his little job of wanting to validate people's worth, reminding them how beautiful they are, how wonderful they are, how incredible they are. You know, he was just minding his own business and trying to make a difference in his little cubbyhole there. You know, but he was able to make a difference in his environment and in his world because he put his heart into what he did. And he put his heart into loving somebody else, empowering somebody else, you know, taking care of somebody else. But, you know, when we see the story unfold and he comes across this lovely lady named Victoria who does not know how to smile, you know, you see this man, you know, almost like a deer caught in the headlights. And he sees his love and he wants to get to know his love. And just as he was so successful in making all the other people smile, he wants to make her smile just as much. But when she does not return his affection, you know, then you see him degenerate into this sad and miserable creature, right? But even in the midst of his own suffering, he somehow found the strength to pull himself out by concentrating on that lovely couple that wanted to be photographed, and by concentrating on how beautiful they were as a couple, even if he didn't have anyone to love. And in so doing, he took many, many beautiful pictures of people. And as I always say here at Loving Life Ministries, you know, God works in mysterious ways. So here he was, a lonely man, wanting love from this woman named Victoria who did not know how to smile. But by focusing on the happiness of the other couples and by wanting to capture something beautiful for them, he came across this crippled and sick woman in a wheelchair. And just as he has helped people, you know, over the days and over the weeks to really realize how incredible each and every one of them are, he did the same thing to this sick and lonely woman by making her feel like she was finally seen. She was no longer like the invisible tree that everybody walks past. She became a person. Mr. Newman saw this woman for what she is, for her true worth, her true value, and that is the child and the daughter of God. And he listened to her. And by listening to this woman, you're tapping in to the heart of another human being. And by listening, you are allowing the other person to feel this incredible feeling of being understood, of being heard. You are no longer the invisible tree. You are no longer the voice that has no sound. You know, suddenly your heart and your soul and who you are has a sound that can be heard and that can be understood. And that kind of feeling is an incredible feeling. And then on top of that, because he not only saw her as that incredible daughter of God with the divinity within her to truly transform her sick body into a happy one, you know, and because he heard her heart and made her feel like she was something so valuable, something that was worth his time. She could feel alive again. She could feel like my life has a purpose, that I am a beautiful person. I can make another person happy just by seeing me because I am that special someone. And by Mr. Newman expressing through his words and through his actions of kneeling down beside her, holding her hand, and expressing to her how beautiful her eyes were, how beautiful she was. What Mr. Newman did was made this person feel like there's nothing more precious than this person in the world. And see, I think we as human beings need to have Mr. Newman in our lives. We need to feel the magic of Mr. Newman in the context of our own relationships within the family. A husband and wife need to feel like they are seen, that they are not an invisible tree. You know, I just recently got an email from this Japanese couple, and the wife was sharing a little bit of a story about her wonderful moment with her husband. And the wife in this email shared with me that her husband was on his knees on the kitchen floor, scrubbing the floor. And she was so amazed to see this incredible Japanese husband. And Japanese men, they don't do things like that. You know, but he looked so adorable. But she said, better than adorable, he looked incredibly sexy. So there he was, crawling on all fours, scrubbing the kitchen floor, and the wife, this Japanese wife, is looking at him, thinking, I've never seen my husband more sexy than he is now. But she did something that is just so unlike a Japanese wife. You know, not only did she just think it and just absorb it into her being, she actually articulated what she was feeling. And she said, you know, whatever his name was, 本当に sexy ですね. Which basically means you are really sexy. You know? And then the husband was so shocked. You know, most Asian couples, they don't even say I love you to each other. But to hear the word sexy coming out of his wife's mouth, he was thinking, holy cow, what's gotten into both of us? And so the husband was amazed. And he just looked at her like this. And then the wife, you know, basically looked at the husband and said, and of course, she didn't tell me what happened afterwards. But I think we can pretty much, you know, figure it out. But see, it's this power that this Mr. Newman is showing to all of us. It's the power of allowing the other person to know that they're not invisible. You know, when we take each other for granted, we become each other's invisible tree. And I remember when I was a kindergarten, you know, there was this joke in the class. And, you know, this boy would just bump into everybody because he was somebody that was not recognized by the other classmates. And he used to just literally, physically bump into people and say, I am the invisible tree, meaning you don't see me, but I'm going to make you feel me, you know? But I think in a marriage or in a, you know, many times in a family relationship, we kind of treat each other like this invisible tree. We don't see each other. I mean, how many times does a child walk into the kitchen? Hi, Mom. Doesn't even see the mom. No eye contact. Just goes straight for the table, eat something, bye, Mom, and out the door, right? The children don't see the mother. Many times the children don't see the father. Many times the siblings don't see each other. And in that way, we take the most important thing called a family for granted. So just as this mysterious power of trying to make people smile does wonders for Mr. Newman and his environment, just the willingness to see each other as something other than an invisible tree, as something that we all are, and that is eternal sons and daughters of God. When we treat each other with that respect, and we see this incredible value in each other, then this mysterious thing called the power of true love can take place. But better than even just recognizing the other person and seeing is the ability to exercise and practice listening to each other. The power that comes from the ability to listen is an incredible one, you know? So when a child is crying out because they need your affection, what they're basically saying is, Mommy, Mommy, listen to me. I need you. And of course, when you're a child, you don't really have the vocabulary to articulate your wants and your needs and your desires, so you tend to use sheer volume to get attention. But many times, it's the people that stops talking. Many times, like our children, when a child stops talking to you, that's when you know that you really have to make an effort to make the time to listen to them, to really listen to their heart, to make them feel understood, to make them feel like whatever they're going through, Mommy and Daddy is going to be right there, and we will always be there. And whatever needs to be worked out, we're going to work it out together. And as difficult as life can be, or obstacles can be, just knowing, a child knowing that they can depend on a parent to listen to them is an incredibly powerful thing. I mean, I think too often in a family setting, we as parents are so busy telling our children what to do. You know, do this, do that, you have to do this. Or many times in a religious context, we as parents are so busy teaching our children how they need to be God's children. But the best way to teach is not, is many times not verbal indoctrination, but sometimes the best way to teach is taking that time to listen to what the child has to say. And by asking rhetorical questions or using the Socratic method, using questions to get a response out of a child so that they have to think through what they're feeling, is sometimes the best way to teach a child. So, when I think about my own kids, or when I'm looking out into the audience and I'm thinking about the American movement as a whole, we've done a phenomenal job of putting together workshops and telling people, our truth or our understanding of this incredible gift called the divine principle. But one of the things that I would like to see in our movement is not just the ability to teach, but also to encourage the ability to listen to each other. Because there's a whole lot of wisdom that we can gain and gather from amongst ourselves. And the more we talk to each other, and the more we listen to each other, then the more we realize what needs to be addressed, what strength we can work on, and what weaknesses we can work on. And in so doing, make progress. And at the same time, make everybody feel like they're heard, and make everyone feel like they are part of the process. And if we can get to a point where, we have this incredible truth, and we know the truth, and we have been taught well the truth. But if we can get to a point where we can express this truth in a loving way, so that we can change our environment, our immediate environment, called the family, or the different relationships that we have with different people, then I think we can create this incredibly wonderful and a peaceful world that my father has been talking about for so many years. You know, when my father says that the family is the building block or the cornerstone of a great society and world, he is absolutely right. Because when you look at this video clip of Mr. Newman, you realize that the beautiful young girl cannot smile because of something that happened in the context of the family. She grew up with a mother who stopped smiling herself. Maybe her mother was so sick, she forgot how beautiful the sky was. Maybe she forgot how wonderful her daughter was. Maybe she forgot how wonderful that she can still live, albeit in a wheelchair, but she's still living, and she's still there for her child. But maybe she was so consumed in her own suffering, in her own physical hardship, that she forgot to see the beauty that was all around her. And she did not realize that because she was complaining, and because she decided to not see the blessings in her life, she didn't realize that what she was doing was condemning her daughter to a life without smile. It was in the mother's inability to see that she has a beautiful daughter, that maybe regardless of how incredibly difficult her physical situation might be, just gazing upon that beautiful face of her daughter, if she could have told herself, that is blessing enough for me today, and took that day, one day at a time, then she would have given her daughter her beautiful smile, the gaze of her beautiful blue eyes, and she would have been smiling all along. So when you look at this video, it's a great reminder for the parents in the audience. Are we smiling enough? Are we smiling enough when we look at our children? Am I smiling enough to my spouse? Am I smiling enough to my neighbor? Because many times we don't see ourselves, and so we don't see the effect that we have on other people. But the most important thing in our lives is really raising decent families and raising great kids. So this is a really simple reminder to really know how to be thankful for the things that we do have. You know, nobody can have it all. You know, when I was going to college, there was a great deal of pressure to be that super woman, to be a great mother, to be a great career mother, to be a great career woman, to have it all, fabulous career and a fabulous family and a fabulous kids. Well, something's got to give. You can't do it all. That's what I realized. But I realized that in sacrificing myself for the sake of my kids, it's a sacrifice of one individual. But I have within my hand the power to raise 5 fantastic kids. And that's worth it. So if we can smile a little bit more, if we can see the members of our family and really see the eternal value that they have in each of them, and if we can take the time, because we truly love them, to listen to whatever they may have to say and be willing to work through the difficulties of life, then the heart can be warmed. And when you see the beauty of a person, and when you take the time out to hear what their heart has to say and make them feel understood, and then on top of that, the icing on the cake, you express and you give back in your words and in your actions just how much they mean to you, then that is the beginning of this incredible true love revolution that my father is talking about. You know, Dr. Maya Angelou once said that it takes great courage to love And I always say it takes a little bit more than courage. It takes a decision first. You have to decide to love. It does take effort. But when you make that decision to love, when you make that decision to see your spouse as this incredible, eternal being, when you make that decision to listen to your child when they're going through some difficult times and you are fed up to hear, but you still make that extra effort. And when you decide that not only are you going to see, not only are you going to hear, but you're going to express to them how much they mean to you. So instead of a father looking at the son saying, well, that's a grown man. Yeah, I can no longer hug my son. How wonderful would it be, as difficult as it may be for you to hug your old son, why not give it a try? And as difficult as it is for you or me, because we come from a certain cultural background, to express those simple words like, "Hontoni sexy desu ne," you know? Go ahead and decide to do it. Take that courage, have the courage to express, exactly what you're feeling for the other person, and see the magic happen in our lives, and see the magic happen in our relationships. And then we realize all along that God, our Heavenly Father, has always been there, always encouraging us. And when the Bible tells us in John chapter 15, verse 14, that God is asking all of us to love each other as He loves us. Well, let's think for a moment. How does our Heavenly Parent love us? He sees us not as an invisible tree. He sees us as His children, as His eternal sons and daughters. And I don't think there's anybody in the world who is a better listener than our Heavenly Parent. How many prayers has He heard? How many cries has He heard? How many laughters has He heard? He has heard it all. And He and she still continues to listen to our hearts whenever we decide to open our hearts to Him or her. And through His grace and through her grace, we feel the love that God shows us in our daily lives. And many times it's not the grand miracle, of this fantastic cake appearing before you just because you want to bite into a chocolate cake. But many times He shows us, He articulates His love to us. He expresses His love to us in many small details of life. It's in the simple things that many times we overlook, or many times we take for granted, where you and I can find God. It's in the simple beauty of the blue sky that we see His majesty. It's in the beautiful intricacies of a flower, of blossom, that we see how incredible His artistry is. And we become inspired in the beauty that we experience when we gaze into a beautiful flower. Or better yet, when we look at the beauty of our children and the potential of our children. That has got to be the greatest gift that God has given to us. And in our community, where our true parents have taught us the importance of true love and true life and true lineage, to think that we are part of God's lineage, to think that our children are part of God's lineage, if that's not a blessing, I don't know what is. So we as families and we as parents, what we need to do is to make sure that we are smiling every day of our lives, and that we are showing our children how incredible they really are. And this is a great time for the children to also appreciate the parent and smile back. And instead of going in and out of the kitchen without ever having eye contact with your mother, what's about stopping there for a minute and giving her a hug and looking at your mother or your father saying, you know, Mom, I really love you. You know, Dad, thank you so much for taking care of us. And it's in these little things that great families are made. And it's based upon this kind of a foundation that's laid day in and day out that we can see our children blossom into this fantastic specimens of true love and really be the kind of people that can usher in this peaceful world that we've been waiting so long for. So whenever I talk about, my father's dream of building a peaceful world, I remind the congregation and I remind the young people of the word peace. And when you take it as an acronym, then in a way, it's a reminder for all of us to remind ourselves that God is our eternal heavenly parent and that we are his and her eternal sons and daughters, and that we really need to kind of be this altruistic person like Mr. Newman, thinking about others, really taking care of others, just because, And by exercising this wonderful thing called compassion, by taking care of other people, by exercising our kindness, we are allowing God's mysterious magic to happen in our lives. And in so doing, we can raise an excellent men and women of God, not just externally excellent, but internally excellent. So brothers and sisters, I'm hoping that you can go back to your homes with a warm and fuzzy feeling. Please remember this video clip, and please remember to smile. And please remember how powerful your smile and your beautiful face and the words, your beautiful words, can have on your families, on your friends, and in your community. So God bless, and thank you very much.
Smile though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use in crying? You find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile.